I'd like to turn back to the Youth Leadership Program one more time, and Angie has agreed to say a few words on behalf of the Ontario Graduates Youth Leadership Program. So, Angie?
The world I grew up in, where expectations were low, accomplishments were few, and self-worth was non-recognizable, the realization for a better life seemed to disappear. But what happens when you're given an opportunity that changes all of this? A place where potential is realized and where love is abundant beyond belief. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my story. Hi, my name is Angie Turble, and I'm a graduating YLP. My journey begins at Camp Canton. When I was first offered to go, it was a whirlwind of emotions that flurried inside of me. Nervousness, fear, but also excitement. Enough excitement to tell me to go. My residential year is where I learned the most about myself. For the first time, someone expected something of me and genuinely believed in me succeeding. It is also where I experienced pure love, the willingness to love somebody and expect nothing in return. My counselors were complete strangers, and yet they were so compassionate towards me and my situation, which to me was unfathomable. I had finally found my drive, a reason to work hard and pursue my dreams. I started to discover this potential they kept telling me existed. With my newfound knowledge and inspiration to strive for a life much better than what I had grown to know, I was left with these last words of encouragement from my counselor. "You will be back someday, I promise." Little did I realize how true this statement would turn out to be. Within the following year, after camp, I received a letter inviting me back to be part of YLP. I was ecstatic. The screaming and dancing lasted a good 20 minutes. Not only did this happen once, but another 4 times. With each year of YLP, I experienced new and exciting adventures and developed more and more as a person. In L1, I learned to conquer my fears because they only prohibited me from reaching my full potential. In L2, I learned how much strength I have, both physically and mentally. With that comes the ability to push limits and discover sides of yourself you didn't even know existed. In L3, I learned just how much one individual could care for another person. Right before camp started, my mother had fallen ill, and I was starting to come to the realization that my life would be forever changed, and the hope of having a normal teenage upbringing was lost. I had experienced one of the hardest years of my life, and I didn't think it could get any worse. But once I got to camp, these issues seemed irrelevant. I had entered what is known as the camp bubble. It didn't last forever, and before I left, I was yet again reminded of the trials awaiting me at home. As my counselor held me as I cried, I learned I would never be alone. I learned although they may not always be there with me, there are people out there who love and care for me and who are just waiting for me to succeed. This knowledge gave me the strength to carry on and gave me another opportunity to defy the odds. In L4, I learned to laugh again. My mother's health complications and their impact on me had failed to elude me, and I felt like I hadn't laughed in a very long time. However, within the first 4 hours of being at camp, I was laughing so hard tears were rolling down my cheeks. I know it seems so silly to think something like laughing could change someone's life, but what I have learned is to appreciate the small things in life, because it is the accumulation of these that makes up a person. And finally, in L5, I learned to always remember where you came from. Only then can you see truly how much you have accomplished. If someone asked me 6 years ago, where do you see yourself in the future? I would have said, I don't know. And it was pretty clear I was a textbook version of a kid going nowhere fast. But then something saved me. Someone cared for the underestimated, unappreciated, and ignored. They saw potential and harvested it in these young people. Camp isn't just a bunkhouse, a dining hall, and a field. It is love, security, acceptance, and a home. It is the smiles, laughs, and overall joy that is ever so present. It is where kids discover their best because they have an army of people telling them what their best is. And for that, I am not only proud of myself, but also this community and their ability to lift up a group of young people who otherwise may not have made it on their own. I want to thank everyone who ever contributed to this journey, every cook who made a meal, everyone behind the scenes, but most importantly, I want to thank every counselor who ever told a camper, you are strong, you are smart, I believe in you. These words of encouragement changes a person's philosophy on life. It gives them purpose, which is sometimes all they need. I think of how far I've come and my journey to the person I am today. I've graduated high school with honors, and I have full intentions to be the first member of my family to graduate post-secondary. With the help of the bursary, I can start this new journey in the fall, and I could not be more thankful or proud. This camp has completely changed my life. I have no idea where I would have been if I didn't get this experience, but probably nowhere good. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank you for showing me what it means to love and to be loved. For all of this, I could never thank you enough.
That's beautiful. Thanks so much, Angie. And really, at the end, just to close, it's people often say, well, what kind of impact are we having on society? What's the difference that the Tim Horton Children's Foundation makes? And I'm sure you agree with me in looking at these over 50 amazing young people on the stage that are going to go out into the community, and that's the societal benefit right there.